Whether you like it or not, diplomacy is changing. You can change with it, or the change can take place without you. This is an inevitability. You can get as frustrated as you want about it. You can say it's bad. You can say it's degrading diplomacy. Too bad.
Well, the ambassador of the future certainly has to be, I think, well connected in electronic media, but also at the same time being an effective listener. Now that again is the skill of a diplomat, but using the media as a radar system, I think, would be very important.
You know, being able to listen more than telling is kind of a new skill for government. And then being able to bring together maybe conversations that they wouldn't have done before is also, you know, something that could be very telling.
To engage this world is to understand and accept that the kind of control that existed in more traditional media and communications spaces does not exist today.
We have a long way to go before the world's governments really, truly get this.
The dependence on digital means of communication as an essential component, fundamental component of global diplomatic interaction.
The diplomat of the future has to understand networks, understand how to influence them, how to operate them, and that will be the key, a key skill going forward.
The power in a networked world is how centrally positioned are you. And the more connected you are, the more central you are, the more information you have, the more contacts you have to mobilize. To me, it's really about connectedness.
Horizontal people-to-people organisations still have to take power back from governments. There is only a limited amount of power. It's not this infinite thing. You know, governments try to control most of our affairs. If we are to take more control over them, there has to actually be a switch of governments controlling these things to us controlling these things. And just kind of tweeting and Facebooking about things is not that.
You know, Twitter and Facebook are really part of a broader category of citizen engagement. How do you create new mediums for citizens and constituents to engage with your policies, with your programs, as a government? But it's not just about social media, it's about an ecosystem of engagement.
What social media is not is a political phenomenon in its own right. It is not democratizing in its own right.
I always say technology is an enabler. It's not the solution. I think if we get too caught up in technology as the answer, then we're sort of, you know, we tailor the questions to the answer we have rather than to the questions which are important.
Technology is not a positive force in itself. Is not a negative force in itself. It depends on how we use it.
Technology can give people a voice in their government, how we can be a responsive government, and how we can be in touch with what people really care about.
The way forward for governments is really to locate partners and to take itself out of the institution, out of that confined space, that self-imposed confined space.
There are some people who feel government can't be innovative. I'd say that's not true. There are lots of examples of it. I think people can be innovative, period, no matter what institution they're within.
And when you think about it in the context of government and other traditional institutions, if you create a strategy, you create a plan, you create measurements, you are very unlikely to come up with something innovative outside of what you can already imagine. But what we like to do is get out of the measurements and try to give people and empower people to try things where we don't tell them what we're looking for. And then they do something surprising. So we use the words impact, uniqueness, and magic. And so it has to be unique, it has to be impactful, but it has to be somewhat magical, which is something